Alright guys, the Spanish Grand Prix is on this week, and then ahead of the event I wanted to look at the best Spanish Grand Prix drivers of all time, which are the 5 best Formula 1 drivers to ever come from Spain. We've had some really good ones in recent times, but historically Spain has not been a place where Formula 1 drivers have come from. Spain, of course, is a massive motorbiking country. They are one of the best nations in the world when it comes to producing MotoGP drivers, but Formula 1 drivers have been very hit and miss over the years, but in recent times they have very much had a renaissance with 2 standout talents. I'll of course talk about them towards the end of the video, but number 5 is a modern driver as well. It's Haimei Algosari. Now, Haimei actually competed in Formula 1 between 2009 and 2011 for Toro Rosso, the junior team of Red Bull. When he first started a Grand Prix at the 2009 Hungarian Grand Prix, he was only 19 years and 125 days old, becoming the youngest driver to ever start a Grand Prix before a certain Max Verstappen came onto the scene in 2015. Algosari was a decent driver back in the day, but he got his 3 seasons in Toro Rosso and he got no more, unfortunately, later being replaced by the likes of Daniel Ricciardo and John-Eric Vergne in 2012. At that time, Toro Rosso basically brought through 2 young drivers and then replaced them after 3 years. It was kind of the mould they usually went with. Algosari scored 31 points in his 46 Formula 1 starts, with the highest being a couple of 7th place finishes during the 2011 season, his final season in Formula 1. After F1, he later went to race in series such as Formula E, but nowadays he's actually a DJ. He doesn't race at all. He retired from motorsport a good 10 years ago now, and he seems to be doing alright for himself, so fair play at the end of the day. But we need to go way back for the 4th place driver on our list, Alfonso de Portago. Now, he only competed in 5 Grand Prix back in 1956 and 1957, driving for Ferrari in fairness. His full name, believe it or not, is Alfonso Antonio Vicente Eduardo Angel Bias Francisco de Borja Cabeza de Vaca y Leighton. Yes, that is a big old name. He was actually born in the UK, believe it or not. And as you can probably tell, he was Spanish royalty with a name like that. But back in those days, aristocrats really used to love racing in Formula 1. In fact, a Prince of Thailand competed in the first Grand Prix ever in Formula 1 in 1950. And Portago really could have been a star in Formula 1 had he lived, unfortunately dying at the age of 28, more on that very shortly. But his best result was a 2nd place finish at the British Grand Prix in 1956. He also managed a 5th place at the Argentine Grand Prix in 1957 as well. This guy was an absolute daredevil as well, by the way. He managed to fly a plane underneath London's Tower Bridge back in the 50s, which, I don't know, man, cockpits were bigger back then, you know, they had bigger cojones, basically, you know, that's definitely an illustration of it. Tragically, though, in 1957, he ended up dying during a crash at that year's Mille Miglia, one of the major sports car races in Italy of that time. But yeah, he could have really been a great at Formula 1, but unfortunately passed well before his time. But somebody who did get a fair crack of the whip when it came to a long Formula 1 career is definitely Pedro de la Rosa, or Peter of the Pink as I like to call him, that's what his name literally translates to in English. He competed in Formula 1 between 1999 and 2012 for the likes of Arrows, Jaguar, McLaren, Sauber and the HRT team. Yes, there was a team in Formula 1 called HRT, although some people called them Hispania. He tested for a long time as well with McLaren in the mid-2000s, and that's where actually he got his best results in Formula 1, managing to get his only podium in the sport at the 2006 Hungarian Grand Prix, an all-time classic, and where Jenson Button got his first win in Formula 1 too. He was a decent driver at the end of the day. He was very tired. He was a very good testing driver, you know, a very dependable pair of hands, and it's good seeing him around the paddock these days as part of the Aston Martin team as well. But now we've got the dynamic duo at the top of this list. You already knew who's going to be at the top of this one, but let's talk first about Carlos Sainz Jr. I know he doesn't like to be called Junior, but I have to say Carlos Sainz Jr. in this case, just because, of course, when people say Carlos Sainz, if you're a certain vintage, you will think of his father, the legendary rally driver, and hopefully future FIA president as well, though that's yet to be seen. But Carlos Sainz Jr. has done a fantastic job since he's been in Formula 1. He joined for the sport really young at the age of just 20 in 2015, being the senior driver though at the Toro Rosso team in 2015, because of course his teammate was Max Verstappen. But Sainz has very much had a journeyman career in Formula 1 since then. He's joined the likes of Renault, McLaren, Ferrari, and now he's at Williams. He's driven for a lot of the major players in Formula 1 over the years, managing to get 4 victories to his name while driving for Ferrari. While he's not probably on the level of his teammate Charles Leclerc at that time, he's still a very, very solid and dependable pair of hands. The fact that he's got 27 podiums to his name as well definitely speaks volumes. And I'm surprised to see he's actually got 6 pole positions as well. Fair play to the guy. Give him a great car. I really do think the guy could be an incredible, a minimum number 2 driver to a very top team. He managed to do that at Ferrari, of course, but you know, on his day he can really, really impress, and he's proved that at times as well. His debut win at the British Grand Prix in 2022 was one that I personally attended, first one I attended as media actually for that matter, and a very popular win as well. Everybody likes Chile. He's very much a great driver. I really want to see what he does in the remainder of his career, and who knows, he may well be able to drag Williams back to the good times once again. But number 1 on the list, it has to be. It can't be anybody else other than Fernando Alonso. A bit like Michael Schumacher did with German drivers, and what you could argue Hamilton has done with British drivers as well. There's been quite a few Spanish drivers, quite a few great Spanish drivers come through Formula 1 after Fernando Alonso. He's very much inspired a lot of young drivers to go and take up karting and try and get into Formula 1 because Fernando Alonso has managed it. Alonso's longevity in Formula 1 is absolutely incredible. He has the most Grand Prix starts out of anybody, and he's going to continue in Formula 1 if his current contract with Aston Martin is honoured until at least the 2026 season, where he'll be 45 years of age. Alonso has been in Formula 1 that long that a good portion of the grid were actually born after his debut for Minardi in 2001. In fact, drivers like Kimi Antonelli were born 5 years after, which is just incredible to think about. After Minardi, of course, he did eventually move to Renault, where he won his world championships in 2005 and 2006. He came close to winning the championship in 2007 for McLaren in that very controversial year, to say the very least. He also came close to winning the title again with Ferrari in 2010 and 2012, losing out in the final round to Sebastian Vettel. But despite that, he is without a doubt one of the all-time greats of the sport, in my opinion, and had he had better awareness when it came to making the correct move at the correct time, you could be talking about a 5-time world champion here, but he always seemed to make the wrong move at the wrong time. He is a hero in Spain though. I mean, over 400 Grand Prix entries, 2 world championships, 32 wins, over 100 podium positions. The guy's incredible, but we've been waiting now 12 years. His final victory in Formula 1 as things stand was the 2013 Spanish Grand Prix, again before the vast majority of the grid made their Formula 1 debut. That is how long it has been. But he still has the talent, in my opinion. He's still showing a lot of great talent. Maybe not at the absolute peak of his powers anymore, but definitely better than a lot of the drivers on the grid, including his teammate Lance Stroll. I don't care what the championship standards are saying. Alonso is 50 times the driver of Lance Stroll, even though he doesn't have any points to his name. But yeah, I hope he's going to get some points soon, because it's just gone on way too long. Nando is a legend of the sport, and it'll be a very, very sad day when he decides to retire, although that will not come anytime soon. But yeah, guys, those are the 5 best drivers from Spain over the years when it comes to Formula 1. Which is your pick for your favourite Spanish driver, and why is it Fernando Alonso? Let us know in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always, guys, and have a fantastic day wherever you're in the world today, and we'll see you very soon for much more content on the build-up to the Spanish Grand Prix, just like this.